Maeva.
Maeva.
We land in Papiete to a fresh floral greeting and a warm, colorful dawn. This is the land which Paul Gauguin left Paris for. It is, he said, an immense palace decorated by nature herself with all the riches of Tahiti. Still at dawn, we're flown to the smaller island of Moorea, a mere 5-minute flight.
Reaching Cook's Bay Hotel at daybreak is like waking up and walking into a dream, for this is our Tahitian paradise for 6 days. Here we will taste the slow, unhurried pace of Tahitian life as Gaugin did. Our hotel manager is a German guy. Scantily dressed and pregnant with their 3rd child, his Polynesian wife comes frolicking in the pool in complete abandon.
This is their lovely daughter. They also have a son. On our first night, the hotel manager gives us a proper maeva, or welcome, a barbecue dinner preceded by Tahitian singing by a local group. This is Angel, our chauffeur from the airport, showing one of her talents, singing. This lady does a Tahitian dance for us. She's a joy to watch. Then she does a demo on how to tie a pareo, a 2-yard piece of cloth wrapped around the body.
That's Vilma being used as a model.
That night, I learned how to tie a pareo in half a dozen ways. A man can also wear a pareo. We have a sumptuous dinner of barbecued chicken, pork, beef, salads, and appetizers. The Tahitians love life in the same way they used to before they became westernized. One woman says, "I'd sooner have a family feast than a TV set."
Cook's Bay Hotel was built with French-inspired latticework balconies. In 1768, the French explorer Bougainville landed in Tahiti and made it a colony of France.
Summing up the experience, I quote Rupert Brooke, "Tonight we will put scarlet flowers in our hair and sing strange, slumberous South Sea songs, bathe in a soft lagoon by moonlight, and eat great squelchy tropical fruit."
His first glimpse of the island must have been a sight like this, because he thought he was transported into the Garden of Eden. This is the Bali High Club, with inviting cottages on the water. Today, the French government still gives Tahiti fringe benefits like free health care, free education, and no income or property tax.
The swimming pool is the best social spot for a cold beer or a French sandwich or a swim. We befriend the Swiss guy who's here on an extended vacation. There are the manager's daughter and son on the beach, and there's Eric in the water.
I go snorkeling, and even in shallow waters I see fishes in brilliant colors that dazzle Gaugin: blue, red, yellow. Yes, there are water activities galore to the water sports enthusiasts like me. I just have to try skin diving once in my life. That woman is going swimming topless. Polynesians created a society without inhibitions that gave food to a hungry stranger or sex to anyone who was hungry for it. This is our friendly receptionist, Mayana. Off duty, she'd sit by the beach and shed off her top. Gaugin loved the women here. He kept a 14-year-old woman with him as a model and mistress.
On my way to the breakfast room, I'm greeted by this dramatic landscape of dark mountains, touched by snow-white clouds, reminding me of New Zealand's Milford Sound. Everywhere you turn, there's a peak peeking at you, makes a lovely backdrop for the crystal clear water of the lagoon. I don't need a snorkeling mask to see the aquatic inhabitants. These snake-like creatures are seaweeds. And there's some fishes frolicking among the corals.
We join an around the island tour, a total of 40 miles. First we stop at the pineapple canning factory and get a sample of pineapple brandy, juiced with 10% brandy and vanilla beans. This is a pineapple plantation. Pineapple and tourism are the two major industries. Moorea has 9,000 people who all know each other. It has 5 policemen, even though there is no crime nor drug problem here. What Paul Gauguin really wanted to do was soak himself once again in nature's purity, see nothing but savages, and live their life.
Down below is the sea with its strong blue color, of which Gauguin wrote. The landscape with its violent, pure colors blinded me. Here's a couple of American ladies that we gang up with, Pat and her French-born mother, Yvonne.
There are no poor in Tahiti. There's sufficient food of bananas, breadfruit, and coconut. If they get tired of fruits, they cast their fishing nets in the wide blue waters. This mountain is called Bali High, made famous by the movie South Pacific. Overlooking a beautiful mountain scene, we stop at a floating restaurant for lunch. It is pricey, but there is not much choice here. Vilma has this French plate called salade niçoise, and I have a steak with a delicate French sauce. It's the best.
It's time for Ahima'a, the Tahitian version of a luau. A bus transports us to an idyllic spot for a Tahitian feast. At the sight of the blue waters, Eric runs for a dip, like a fish out of water, even though he has no change of clothes. Here, Gauguin found the hospitality, innocent joy, and true happiness that he was looking for. That's why his paintings are happy, with a touch of serenity. Then it's time to open the earth oven, which reveals a roast pig surrounded by native fruits.
A banquet would not be complete without Polynesian songs. Then, to the pulsing beat of the drums and the sharp clapping of hands, the Tahitian dance begins. This is the wild, hip-jolting Moorea, with all of its fervor. The emphasis is on the hips.
The girls of Tahiti with their hair flowing, hips swaying, their supple figures scantily clad in bright colors. They are called the laughing children of nature. This love dance echoes the Tahitians' love of life and life of love. This French-speaking guy gets me up to do the Tahitian dance with him. Then he gives me his wreath of fresh leaves as a souvenir. After a long day out, it's refreshing to have a home to come home to. We eat most of our meals at our hotel, which serves more of a French, than a Polynesian fare.
It's only fair. Renting a car is very expensive, so we do it only for a day to see Moorea's natural riches. We pass by coconut groves. The oil from copra, the coconut meat, is sent to Tahiti for oil, soap, and shampoo. The coconut tree lives for 120 years and has 101 uses. In Gauguin's time, in the 1890s, one can live on next to nothing. We had an easy life, they said, where money meant little, time even less. Here's a tattoo artist using his whole body as a model. The Tahitians want red feathers more than anything. Red is a holy color, and red feathers worn around the neck is a powerful talisman.
This is a tiki, a wooden sculpture of a man smoking a pipe. We enter the tiki village for a glimpse of local life. They show us how to climb a coconut tree and how to remove the husk, which is used for roofing, for cleaning the body, dishes, and floor, and how to grate the meat with a jagged piece of metal, then squeeze the coconut milk. For personal use, the women wear the coconut shells for a bra, while this is how men use it. Here too, they show how to tie-dye their pareos. They use bold colors, such as those Gauguin used on canvas. Tahiti glows with an inner warmth, as seen in the smiles of the people and in their eagerness to please. In not many countries can you hear, "There's no tipping here," for tipping is contrary to Tahitian hospitality. The flowers too warm the atmosphere. The exuberant bougainvillea, the fragrant gardenia, called Tiare Tahiti, the national flower, and the countless varieties of hibiscus.
The road around the island is always a stone's throw from the ocean. To cool off from the extreme humid heat, we soak ourselves in the shallow waters. We take a narrow road inland, and the scenery is the same. Luxurious greens and coconut trees standing as tall as the mountains, a dramatic backdrop for the school. The thatched roof adds to the village charm.
Here's some backyard fruit, papaya ripened on the tree. The plants in front with the smaller leaves are taro. They sell the taro root at the vegetable stand by the main road. This is a Moorea, a temple platform of ancient belief. Its open-air altars are built of hundreds of black volcanic stones. In ancient days, only men were sacrificed.
The main road looks desolate. There are only motorbikes, cars, and tour buses, but are far in between. Here's a happy bunch of women enjoying themselves as they work, separating the midriff of the coconut leaves. The midriff is then bundled together into a broom, while the leaves are used in weaving baskets.
Something catches my eye, an outdoor museum of Gauguin's paintings reproduced on pareos. A French ambassador said of Gauguin, instead of scattering color, he distributed in solid, homogeneous patches, creating balance not only with the hue, but with expansiveness and form. It was truly the tropics that he needed, a land with spacious, clearly defined areas.
This graceful array of cottages are just a few feet from the beach. Gauguin's house, which he helped to build, must have looked like this, with sculptures in front, but longer and farther from the ocean. Tonight, since we have a car, we dine at one of the best hotels, the Bali High Hotel, not to be confused with the Bali High Club.
This is a bumpy dirt road to the waterfall, impassable by car. So today, Eric rents a motorbike, retraces the dirt road, fords the stream, only to catch a trickle of a waterfall.
On our last night in Moorea, I sit with a notepad and pen in hand and meditate by the beach. While Vilma glories in the color balance of the waning sun and the waxing moon.
Aboard Air Moorea, we catch the last and memorable glimpse of the dazzling waters of Moorea. The main island, Tahiti, is a bustling metropolis, while Moorea is laid back. On our first night, we dine at a lofty place called Belvedere. The restaurant bus picks us up and takes us to a very narrow, winding road to the top of the mountain. We dine on the house specialty, steak fondue. Next to our table, we hear a couple who are speaking Spanish. They're Filipinos, Gina and Pedro Rojas, honeymooning in the South Pacific. On the left is one way to tie a pareo. On the right is another way. Papiete has outdoor cafes a la Paris. We have a refreshing drink in one of the night spots that Papiete boasts of, called Tamore Hot. The Tahitians crowd the discos where they love to do an exotic erotic dance to a Latin beat. We don't have far to go. Downstairs is in our hotel. We dance the night away at La Cave. Early the next morning, I walked to the market. It's very clean, orderly, and colorful. Roast pig, my favorite. I have to have some of that. Some red cooking bananas to cook underground with the pig. I love these young coconuts sold for their sweet water and sweet tender meat. In the center, the heart-shaped nasturtium in white, pink, or red never failed to catch the eye. On the front left are grass skirts made from the shredded bark of the purao tree, used as dancing costumes.
Like Moorea, Tahiti has only one road, the one started by Pomare and the missionaries in the 1820s. It goes for 75 miles around the bigger part of the island and halfway around the smaller part. Colorful buses called Le Truck, built out of wood, run along the road, but you'd never know it when it shows up. Outside Papiete, life is still rural, slow, and peaceful. Next to Museum is a Viking-looking boat, probably used by the early inhabitants to go to other islands. Nearby is a stone tiki. It is believed that a powerful and deadly tapu, or sacred spell, rests upon its squat features. Here's a statue exhibiting the Tahitians' flair for tattoos.
Soon we reach Papieri. Here, there's a splendid new museum that tells the story of Gauguin's life. By capturing the island's folklore on exotic colors, he gives his paintings a sense of mystery. In his 2 years in Tahiti, he has produced 66 more or less good paintings, he said, and several extremely savage sculptures. The museum stands in the midst of a botanical garden, as if to suggest the artist's love of the outdoors, with its riotous colors. We stopped for lunch at the Gaugin restaurant, where I have this grilled steak.
We take the road around the smaller part of the island. The street is lined with these yellow hedges that they make into wreaths. Here's a rural scene, a colorful fruit stand instead of a grocery store.
Suddenly, we come to a dead end. But where's the road? Well, we get out of the car and cross the bridge on foot. Yes, there's life beyond the road, a slow and easy life. The 3 dogs are slumbering peacefully, and the friendly lady beckons us to come closer.
Though remote, there's a sign of a school. This colorful vehicle marked Transport des Enfants is a school bus. We drive inland but have to turn back due to a bad road. However, we are rewarded with this scene of kids enjoying an afternoon swim, reminding us of the Tahiti that is full of peace and joy, as Herman Melville put it. We come upon a waterfall sign. Vilma and I take a short walk amidst dense vegetation. The great height makes this cascade small.
This evening, in homage to Gaugin, we search for the restaurant Gaugin. Look at the menu, fittingly mounted on an easel. On the left is his painting of a Tahitian woman with a fan.
Yes, Paul Gauguin loved the tropics for its dazzling colors and happy vahines. Here's my vahine wearing what the Tahitians wear when they go swimming, minus the pareo, of course.